Research Methodology 101, how to conduct interviews like a pro. In this clip, I will present structured interviews, unstructured interviews, semi-structured interviews, focus group interviews. My name is Dr. Javed Anjum Sheikh. Interviews. An interview is a qualitative research method that relies on asking questions in order to collect data. There are several types of interviews, often differentiated by their level of structures. Structured interviews have predetermined questions asked in a predetermined order. Unstructured interviews are more free-flowing, and semi-structured interviews fall in between, whereas focus group involves a group of individuals, let's say 6 to 10. I will discuss structured interviews. Structured interviews focus on the accuracy of different responses, due to which extremely organized data can be collected. In a structured interview, the researcher creates a set of interviews questions in advance, and these questions are asked in the same order so that responses can easily be placed in a similar categories. You know what you are looking for from each question, and you ask each one in same order each time. You can go off script if you want to, but you will always return to it. They are often closed-ended, featuring dichotomy, yes or no questions, multiple choice questions. In research, structured interviews are often quantitative in nature. They can also be used in qualitative research if the questions are open-ended, but this is less common. A structured interview is also known as a pattern interview, plan interview, or a standardized interview. Advantages. Different respondents have different type of answers to the same structure of questions. Answers obtained can be collectively analyzed. They can be used to contact a large sample of the target population. The interview procedure is made easy due to the standardization offered by structured interview. Replication across multiple samples become easy due to the same structure of interview. Since the structure of interview is fixed, it often generates reliable results and is quick to execute. Disadvantages. The accuracy of information overpower the detail of information. Respondents are forced to select from the provided answer options. A significant amount of time is required for a structured interview. It is limited to scope and flexibility. I will discuss unstructured interviews. Unstructured interviews. An unstructured interview is a data collection method that relies on asking participants questions to collect data on a topic, also known as non-directive interviewing. Unstructured interviews do not have a set pattern, and questions are not arranged in advance. Unstructured interviews are more like free-flowing conversation. The interview proceeds based on the participant's previous answer. In research, unstructured interviews are usually qualitative in nature, and unstructured interviews can be particularly useful exploratory research tool. It is open-ended. This lack of structure can help you gather detailed information on your topic while still allowing you to observe pattern in the analysis stage. Even more so than in structured or semi-structured interviews, it is critical that you remain organized and develop a system for keeping track of participant responses. Since the questions are not set beforehand, the data collection and analysis becomes more complex. Advantages. Due to the informal nature of unstructured interviews, it becomes extremely easy for researchers to try and develop a friendly rapport with the participants. This leads to gaining insight in extreme detail without much conscious effort. The participants can clarify all their doubts about the questions, and the researcher can take each opportunity to explain his or her intention for better answers. Disadvantages. As there is no structure to the interview process, researchers take time to execute these interviews. The absence of a standardized set of questions and guidelines indicate that the reliability of unstructured interview is questionable. In many cases, the ethics involved in these interviews can consider borderline upsetting. There are no question that the researcher has to abide by, and this usually increases the flexibility of the entire research process. I will discuss semi-structured interviews. Semi-structured interviews are blend of structures and unstructured interviews. Semi-structured interviews offer a considerable amount of flexibility to the researcher to probe the respondents along with the maintaining a basic interview structure. This flexibility can help you gather detailed information on your topic, while still allowing you to observe pattern between participants. However, so much flexibility means that they can be very challenging to conduct properly. The question and the order in which they are asked are not set. Instead, the interviews can proceed more simultaneously based on the participant's previous answer. Unstructured interviews are by definition open-ended. The best application for the semi-structured interview is when the researcher does not have time to conduct research and requires detailed information about the topic. You must be very careful not to ask leading questions, as biased responses can lead to low reliability or even invalidate your research. Advantages. You have a solid background in your research and topic and have conducted interviews before. Questions of semi-structured interviews are prepared before the scheduled interview, which provides the researcher with time to prepare and analyze the questions. Your research question is exploratory in nature and you are seeking descriptive data that will deepen and contextualize your initial hypothesis. Reliable qualitative data can be collected via these interviews. The disadvantages. Participants may question the reliability factor of these interviews due to the flexibility offered. Comparing of two different answers becomes difficult as the guideline for conducting interviews is not entirely followed. No two questions will have the exact same structure and the result will be an inability to compare or infer results. Finally, I will discuss focus group. One popular research interview method is conducting a focus group interview, which involves a group of individuals, let's say 6 to 10, interviewed at the same time and common location. Focus group moderators usually encourage participants to interact with one another. Often, focus group participants respond more comfortably and naturally, as the group setting can feel more authentic than other interview settings. The interviewer is essentially a facilitator whose job is to lead the discussion and ensure that every person has an opportunity to respond. Focus group allow deeper examination of complex issues because when people hear other talk, it often triggers responses or ideas that they did not think about before. However, focus group discussion may be dominated by a dominant personality and the same individuals may be reluctant to voice their opinion in front of their peers or superiors, especially while dealing with a sensitive issue. Because of their small sample size, focus groups are usually used for explanatory research rather than descriptive research. Types of focus group. Dual moderator. There are two moderators for the event. One ensures smooth execution and the other guarantees the discussion of each question. Two-way. A two-way group involves two separate groups having discussion on the topic at different times. As one group conducts their study, the other group observes the discussion. In the end, the group that observed the first sessions perform their conversation. The second group can use insights gained from watching the first discussion to dive deeper into the topic and offer more perspectives. Mini. This type of group restricts participants to 4 to 5 members instead of the usually 6 to 10. Client involvement. Use this group when clients ask you to conduct a focus group and invite those who ask. Participant moderated. One or more participants provisionally take up the role of moderator. Online. This group employ online mediums to gather opinions and feedback. There are 3 categories of people in online panel: observer, moderator and respondent. Differences between types of interviews you can see here: fixed questions, fixed order of questions, fixed number of questions, additional question depend upon your type of questions. These are the references. If you think this clip is good, you like it, then subscribe, comments, share it, and if you have any question, ask. Thank you.